we need to go with the data step processing, the workflow of the SAS, data step debugging. Anyway, you can say I will explain presentation in detail. We'll discuss anyways tomorrow. So as we have 25 minutes, I will explain briefly today. Where is data step processing presentation? It should be there somewhere. Copy, paste. Oh, already there. Hmm. So data step processing means, before going with that presentation, guys, what we are discussing now with this presentation is, for example, if you submit this program, okay, so data step means once select the program and we are going to execute, right, by using run selection. Once submit the program, what's going on back end to get this particular output data set? Within the fraction of seconds, what happening? How SAS is reading the variable values? How SAS is displaying? So this position to this position, there is a error. Okay, while reading the age variable, 15 to 17th position, there is error. Where it is 15? Yes, 15, 16, 17. There is error. Underscore n underscore 3, third record, there is an error. 15 to 17th position. Fourth record, there is an error. 23 to 24 position. These positions and these values, how within the milliseconds, how SAS is displaying what's going on back, and that's what we are discussing now. The data step processing. Okay, complete workflow of this as we are going to discuss now. Oh, sorry. 1 second. I saved right notes. What we discussed as of now. Okay. Yep. So data step processing overview. So data step is processing two phases sequence, guys. One is compilation phase, another one is execution phase. Two phases will happen. Once you execute the program, very first phase, SAS will enter to the comparison phase. You are going to use run selection, right? Or else you are going to use F3 button, submit your program. Once you submit your program, within a moment, SAS will enter to the first phase, comparison phase. In comparison phase, each statement is going to scan for the syntax errors, guys. Okay? It will scan for the syntax error. Is there any invalid SAS names, missing semicolons? Huh? Okay? And invalid SAS keywords if you are using. That is called syntax error, missing semicolon, all these. If there is no syntax error, then only it will go to the execution phase. In execution phase only, SAS is going to read the records, all the observations. Two phases, okay? In simple way, this is comparison phase. First, it is going to check all syntax error. If there is no syntax error in execution phase, it is going to read. This is just for you. In detail, we'll go now. Next slide. To discuss this processing, data step processing, we are using one example, guys. For example, you received this particular text file from your client. So with the two records, for example, two records are there. You can see here, Barbara name and height and weight. Barbara John 61 12D and John 62 175. So there is a 12D data entry mistake. Okay, in case if you have invalid data, how SAS is going to read to discuss. Okay, that one. You receive text file, and as well as you received column names and column attributes also. But what is their requirement? Read this particular external file and create BMI, body mass index. So, but how we are going to read text file data? Definitely, we are going to use in file statement. In file, yes, just identify the location of the external file, copy the path, and then input statement. Just instruct the SAS how to read the variable names by using column input method. Name 1 to 7, night 9 to 10, weight 12 to 14. Then we need to create BMI, guys. Assignment statement. Like assignment statement, we need to create the variable called create BMI. So 700 into weight by height into height, there is a formula. You can simply Google it. No need to by heart that one. So what is the requirement? By using height variable, weight variable, just calculate body mass index for these records. Now, so this is the program, guys. Okay, there is a data entry error. There is a data entry error. I said already. So this is your program. You write. For example, let's assume in file statement input. So BMI equals to 700 into weight by height into height. As per the formula, it is going to calculate it. So remember, guys, no need to remember or by heart any formulas and all these. Okay, especially when it comes to the clinical sector, we can carry all our SDT implementation guide, Adam implementation guide, and everything. So you can simply Google it if you want something. For example, here. So this is your syntax, guys. This is your program, in file and input, BMI and output. Probably here, no need output, right? But why you are using? Yes, actual output is not required. I want to explain what is the importance of the output statement. That's why we included here. Without output also we'll get output. You know that, right? Without output statement also we can get output, all records. But just to check the importance of the output statement, we included here. So this is the program. Once your program is ready, what you are going to do? Okay, in file, okay, input, okay. So newly created variable through assignment statement, I am calculating with help of weight and height variable BMI. So output. So once your program is ready, you are going to execute, right? Once execute by using F3 button or run selection, it will enter to the first phase, compilation phase, guys. Listen carefully. Very first SAS will enter to the compilation phase once you execute your data step by using run selection. In compilation phase, very first SAS is going to create input buffer. Input buffer. This is temporary logical memory area, guys. Input buffer is nothing but temporary logical memory area to hold your raw data position wise, to carry your raw data anywhere you can remember. So for example, text file, it will be there somewhere in the D drive or C drive or any desktop or any external hard disk. From there to SAS environment to carry, to hold, we need some memory, right? That memory, guys, input buffer. Very first SAS is going to create. This input buffer will not be created when reading a SAS dataset. When reading a SAS dataset means set statement. If it is a set statement, there is no need of input buffer. Other than set statement, in file and input and data lines. First method and third method. First method and third method. Again, I'm telling you. First method, in file and input. Third method. Sorry, third method, in file. In first method, input and data lines we discussed, right? These two cases and fourth method also. When you are going to use raw data, guys, their input buffer is going to create. Not with SAS dataset, not with set statement. There is no need of input buffer. Set statement means already dataset available in the SAS environment. Then only you can use set statement, right? Dataset is already there. Table is ready. So what is the need of positions and all, right? No need. So no need of input buffer. If it is a raw data, then only input buffer will be created. So 3 points we are going to discuss about compilation phase. First point, once execute the program, very first SAS will enter to the compilation phase. In compilation phase, SAS is going to create input buffer first to hold your raw data from your external file to SAS environment to carry your raw data position wise. 1 point done. After creation of the input buffer, still we are at a comparison phase only. Then SAS is going to create next. Guys, input buffer is the temporary memory area. Why I am saying again and again. During the execution only, it will help you to hold your raw data position wise. Once the data sets got created, automatically this memory is going to be deleted, guys. Okay, once data set created, automatically it is going to be deleted. That's why I'm saying temporary logical memory area. During the execution only it will happen. After creation of the input buffer, SAS is going to create PDV, program data vector. PDV means program data vector. PDV underscore n underscore error underscore guys. In this PDV only SAS very first will create two automatic variables underscore n underscore error underscore. In compilation phase, after creation of the input buffer, SAS will create program data vector PDV. This is also one of the memory area, main memory area, important memory area. Here only SAS is going to read SAS records, record by record, observation by observations, and it is going to build a new SAS data set. Okay, underscore n underscore error underscore. What is the use of underscore error underscore? You know that already. Underscore n underscore always display the observation number, right? Observation number. Which observation there is an error? How you can understand based on observation number only, right? To set a tokenization, simple I can say that. Which record it is reading? For example, if it is a reading 10th record from the input data set, yes, underscore n underscore going to be 10. If it is reading a second record, underscore n underscore going to be 2. Third record, fourth record, based on the record number, it will set underscore n underscore value. Okay, for example, while reading the second record, in case if there is an error, underscore error underscore, it will signals to the 1. Otherwise, it will be 0. What kind of error value? You know, right? Numeric variable can able to read only numerics, not special characters, not alphabets. In case if you have special characters and alphabets, that is called invalid data now. So underscore error underscore will pop up 1. Otherwise, underscore underscore value will be 0. Whereas coming to the underscore error underscore, one more important point, always underscore error underscore value will be either 0 or 1 only. For example, you are reading 20 variables. With one record, 20 variables. Out of 20 variables, 6 errors are there. 6 variables you have invalid data. What will be the underscore error underscore value? Just 1 only. Even if you have 10 variables or 20 variables, 30 variables underscore values, 30 variables you have invalid data, but underscore error underscore always will be 1 only. If you have error, only 1. It will display 1. There is no error, it will be 0. First in PDV, 1 second guys. Underscore n underscore error underscore variables will create. Next, observe carefully cursor now. So input variables, what will be the input variables? Name, height, and weight. These three variables created once cursor reaches the input statement. Next, the BMI. One more variable also will be created in the PDV. Newly created variable. Three variables from input data and one more variable we are creating through assignment statement. Total 4 variables are there. Name, height, weight, and BMI. So very first guys, in comparison phase, input buffer created. After input buffer, PDV created. PDV first two automatic variables underscore n underscore error underscore. What is use of underscore n underscore? Which observation is being processing? Okay. Which observation is reading? While reading that particular observation, in case if we have error underscore, then it is going to read the variable. D means drop. These two variables is going to be dropped. It will not display in the output data set, right? Always it will display these variables only. Name, height, weight, BMI variables. Input data set variables and not automatic variables. These automatic variables it will display in the log window in case if we have error, this position to this position, this particular record you have error, it will display. Am I right? Otherwise, it will not display underscore n underscore. Guys, you check anytime underscore error underscore n underscore. If you have invalid data, then only it will display in the log window. Otherwise, it will not display, right? Hmm. So next, as of now, we discussed 2 points. One is input buffer created and PDV created with automatic variables and main variables. Next, last point for the comparison phase, guys. So after creation of the variables and attributes, then it will check for the syntax errors, guys. Invalid variable names, invalid SAS options, invalid functions, misspelled SAS keywords, missing semicolon, anything comes under. That is called syntax error. Okay, so if there is no syntax error, then only it will enter to the execution phase. In the execution phase, it is going to read the record by record position wise. Okay, in case if you have any errors, in comparison page itself, SAS is going to stop the execution. Okay, so if you observe carefully, comparison page just table created with the columns. Just table is ready. That's it, not values, right? Table with column names. Now, as there is no errors in my program, it will enter to the execution phase. Now, observe cursor carefully. How cursor is going to move to the top, guys? Data statement. Once cursor reaches to the data statement, that is called first iteration. At the beginning, underscore n underscore it will set 1 and underscore error underscore initially 0 and all variables it will set to missing value. Remember guys, this is very important question. What will be initial value before reading the variable value? In execution phase, very first SAS is going to set all variable values as a missing. Numeric variable missing, dot character variable missing, blank space it will assign. Okay, so after that, while reading, these missing values is going to overwrite with main values. Observe cursor carefully. Okay, so first iteration, first record it is reading. Underscore and underscore means first one record, first record. First, from the text file, input buffer is going to hold the data position wise. See, Barbara 6112D. Okay, you have in your text file. That data input buffer is going to hold first entire record position wise 1 to 7 name, 9 to 10 height, and 12 to 14 weight. From the input buffer, PDV it is going to read variable wise. Now you can see first name 1 to 7. Yes, input buffer as it is holding position wise. From the input buffer, PDV it is going to read first name. Next height. Guys, as of now, underscore error underscore 0 only. But once search cursor reach to the weight, underscore error underscore going to be 1. Why? Because we have invalid data for weight 12 to 14th position. Am I right? 12 to 14th position, there is a weight is a numeric variable, but there is a character that is invalid numeric data, right? So weight is missing as we have no data. Without weight, is it possible to calculate BMI? Next, SAS cursor move to the BMI. So as weight is missing, BMI also remains missing. So 700 into dot, everything going to be dot only. Without weight, we are not able to calculate BMI. So BMI. Next, output statements. SAS cursor will move to the output statement. If you observe carefully, guys, complete record input buffer is holding in execution phase, position wise. From the variable wise input buffer to PDV, it is reading. PDV, it is reading variable wise. Okay. So after reading, there is output statement. Once all variables are read, now there is output. What is the use of output statement? Output statement will send these records from the PDV to output dataset immediately. What is your output dataset name? Example 3 underscore 1. See. So within a moment, it will send to the output dataset. Again, SAS cursor move to the top to read the second record. Underscore n underscore 2 underscore error underscore 0. Again, all values set to the missing. Second record, guys. Second iteration. Anyway, you can say. Now, second values from the line text file. John 62 175. Yes, name it is going to read John and height it is going to read 62 from 9 to 10 position. Weight it is going to read 12 to 14 position. This time we have height and weight. So 700 into weight by height into height, definitely it is going to calculate 31.868. If you want me to calculate, I will calculate. 700 into 175 equals to 1,22,500. Okay. And height into height, 62 into 62, 3844. 1,22,500 divided by 3844 equals to 31.867. If you round, 31.868. Got calculated, right, as per the formula BMI? So BMI got calculated. So there is an output statement. Output statement from the PDB to output data set, it is going to send immediately. Again, SAS cursor, it is moved to the top to read the third record. Is there any records available in the text file? No more records, right? So SAS attempts to read an observation from the input data set, but it reaches the end of the file marker, which means that there is no more observations to read. In case along with this data stuff, if you use any other program, it will execute other program. Okay, it will jump to the next data step, proc step. If you not use anything, it will stop there. What is the use of importance of the output statement? Write the current observation from the PDB to SAS dataset immediately, not at the end of the data step. This is the importance of the output statement. To write current observation from PDB to output dataset, output statement is going to happen. Got it, guys? Execution phase, what is going to happen? Execution phase only SAS is going to read the variable values. In comparison phase, first a setup only will create. Just setup. Got it? So data step processing, workflow of the SAS. So data step debugging, anyway you can call. So how many pages will be there, guys? Data step processing, two phases. One is compilation phase.
Compilation,
Hmm.
execution.
Right. Compilation phase, 3 points. What is the first? Once execute the program in compilation phase, what is going to happen, guys? What is the first point we discussed? Three points we discussed about compilation phase. Very first,
The buffer,
yeah,
input
input buffer. Input buffer will create to hold raw data position wise, right? What next after creation of input buffer? Input buffer is nothing but this is temporary logical memory area. So input buffer is nothing but temporary logical memory. Why we are calling it as a temporary logical memory area? During the execution only, it will help you to hold and carry your raw data position wise. So after creation of the input buffer, SAS is going to create one more memory, very important memory. What is that? PDB,
PDB,
program data vector, PDB. What is the use of PDB? PDB will create to read each observation to read observations variable wise. In PDB, very fast, two automatic variables will create. It's in comparison phase. Okay, PDB created actually, but it will read observations in execution phase. We'll do one thing. PDB will create two automatic variables, which is nothing but underscore n underscore and underscore error underscore. What is the use of underscore n underscore? You know that. Which observation is being processing? While processing current observation, if you have any error, error underscore. Right? After that, input data variables will create. Right? So first automatic variables, then input data set variables. What next? What is the last point in compilation phase? Then it will check for syntax errors. Am I right? Syntax errors or as invalid SAS names, misspelled SAS keywords. There are many ways. Syntax errors is nothing but missing semicolon, invalid SAS options, SAS names, SAS keywords. Okay, invalid SAS options or SAS names or SAS keywords. That is comes under syntax error. So these 3 points you should remember whereas coming to the compilation phase. If there is no errors in your program, then only it will enter to the execution page. In case if you have any error in compilation phase itself, it is going to stop the execution. In execution phase, very fast. Execution phase where SAS is going to read the records iteration by iteration, execution phase only. In comparison phase, just it will create setup, only variables and tables only it will create. All the values it is going to read record by record, iteration by iteration, observation by observation in the execution phase only. Very fast, it will set all variable values as missing values. Then it will read observation by observation or record by record, iteration by iteration. Any way you can say, guys, all are same. Then it will read one by one observation from raw data. Then it is going to create output data, right? So for that, We are using data example 3 underscore 1 in file. I will create one file and input name 1 to 7, height 9 to 10, weight 12 to 14. BMI equals to 700 into weight by height into height. I'm calculating BMI here and but about my text file I will create now. Barbara 62 or something and already John 75 165 or something. I'm not sure. Okay, we'll go with the presentation. It is available with us, right? Not bar. Hmm. Where is your text file? Barbara 61 already 62 175 John. Hmm. 61 already 62 175. Where is that? Ah, okay. So this is my data, guys. You can see here 1 to 7. You can see here 1 to 7 column position Barbara, 9 to 10 height, and 12 to 14 your weight values are there. File save as my desktop example underscore 1 or something. Save. I will copy as path. Okay, as I selected copy as path, simply I am going to use. Okay, here output. Output not required actually. See, we will see the difference, importance of the output statement. So once submit this program, what is going to happen? That is what we are discussing with this presentation, guys. So once your program is ready, you are going to execute. Guys, all statements, it's clear, right? There is no doubt about statements, why we are using input statement, why we are using input statement with column positions, why we are using BMI. So we need to calculate the BMI. They are providing text file with column positions and column names. Their requirement just calculate the BMI for the records. So BMI we are calculating with help of assignment method. We are creating new variable BMI equals to, guys, whenever you want to create a new variable through assignment method, especially when you are using infile and input, after input only try to create variables. After input statement only we need to create the variables. Okay, so don't forget syntax, guys. Syntax is very important, reminds everything very easy, which is very simple, you know that, but syntax where we are using, that is very important in the SAS, guys. Before input statement, if you use length statement, it's okay, fine, because before setting SAS length, we are setting our default length, what you want. But this one, after reading the variables only, we can calculate the BMI. Without reading height variable and weight variable, how to calculate BMI? So first input, next BMI. Okay, and then output and run. See, if I run this program, there you can see this is your output. So Barbara 61, weight missing, BMI missing. 62 175 BMI got calculated. Check log window as there is a invalid data. Which position invalid data it is? See, guys, if you observe carefully, this line is nothing but input buffer, guys. You can see here 1 to 7 position it is holding Barbara. Am I right? 5th position, 10th position, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 like that. So this one is nothing but your input buffer. See, I will show you where it is. Still we are at comparison page. Yes, execution page. This one you can see. Barbara 61 already. First input buffer will hold your raw data. Then it is going to read one by one, one by one. Once read everything, once encounters the invalid data, then you can see Barbara 1 to 7, height 9 to 10, weight 12 to 14, name okay, height okay, but as weight is missing, invalid numeric data, BMI remains missing, right? Weight missing, BMI missing. See guys, input buffer and PDV, just observe. I will show you in the log window. This input buffer and PDV, here it is. This one is nothing but your input buffer. Input buffer holding your raw data position wise. See Barbara 1 to 7, 9 to 10, height 12 to 14, weight. Same you can see 1 to 7 Barbara, 9 to 10, height 12 to 14, weight. Next PDV. This one is nothing but your PDV. Name Barbara, height 61, weight dot BMI dot underscore R underscore 1 underscore N underscore 1. Okay, underscore N underscore 1 means while reading the first record there is an error. What kind of error it is? Invalid data for weight in 12 to 14th position. Here it is 12 and 14. You can find here also. So this is 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Okay, so invalid data for that. This is nothing but your PDV guys. This is nothing but your input buffer. When it will display input buffer and PDV, in case if you have invalid data only, which observation, which position there is a invalid data to display, to inform you, it will display in the log window. In case there is no invalid data, then it will not display, right? You know that. For example, here, there is no invalid data. Everything is pretty clear. If I run this program, only how many observations and how many variables got created. That's it. But in case if I have any invalid data, see for example, in this example, we are using invalid data, submit. Yes, you have invalid data for underscore and underscore 3. Which position? 15 to 17th position. 15, 16, 17th position, invalid data. Next, while reading the fourth record, I encounters invalid data for 23, 24, 23 and 24, 4 star. Got it? Okay, input buffer PDV, it will display in the log window in case if you have invalid data only. Got it? Now I will repeat. Now you have idea. Okay, data step processing is two phases of sequence. One is compilation phase, another one is execution phase. So this is the example we are using. They provide a text file with variable names and column positions. They require me to calculate the BMI, but there is a data entry mistake. So once submit the program, it is entering into the compilation phase very fast. What is the use of compilation phase? So in compilation phase, SAS is going to create input buffer first to hold your raw data. We need some memory to carry your raw data from external file to SAS dataset, right? That memory is nothing but input buffer. Input buffer will hold your raw data position wise. This input buffer will not create when it is reading a SAS dataset. When we are going to use read SAS dataset, set statement. If you use set statement, there is no use of input buffer, guys. There is no need of input buffer. SAS will not create. Other than set statement, first method and third method, SAS is going to create input buffer. First input buffer, next PDV created. This is the main memory area where SAS builds a new data set, one observation at a time. First automatic variables will create underscore n underscore underscore r underscore underscore n underscore means which observation is being reading or processing. While processing current observation, if you have any errors, underscore error underscore. After creation of the automatic variables, then your input dataset variables will create with attributes. Then is there any assignment statement variables? Assignment statement or variables also it will create. This is very important concept, guys. While when we are going to discuss coming classes, options and all, again, same thing I will explain. If you're good at this concept there, you can easily understand how it is applying options or input data set and output data set and everything in PDV, PDV to input, PDV to output, everything. Okay. So just spend time to do the practice with this particular concept. So in the PDV, still we are at compilation phase in PDV, with automatic variables, then input data set variables created, then it is checking for the syntax errors, invalid variable names, misspelled SAS keywords, incorrect functions, and all these. If there is no errors, then it will enter to the next phase, execution phase. Execution phase only, it is going to read the variable values iteration by iteration. First iteration, it will set all values as a missing value. Then it is going to pick the values from text file to input buffer position wise. Complete record it will hold. Variable wise, it is going to read PDB. Then record wise, it will send to the BMI also trying to calculate, but as weight is missing, BMI missing. Output statement. Output statement will send that record to the output dataset immediately. Okay, see now if you go and check your yesterday one of the method, this one guys, using output without output, what is happening? Yeah, name it is reading ROM, ID it is reading 1020, department IT and salary 3,50,000. As there is no run, still it is reading next statement name. So as name length is 3 characters, it is replacing these 3 characters with these 3 characters. So everything got replaced. That's why we are getting only one record without output. But once start using output statement, what happened? Output statement, this record from the PDVD, it is sent into the output dataset without replacing, right? This one we are sending the output dataset. This record will send into the output. That's why we are getting 3 records using output without output, this method. Where it is replacing PD only, it is replacing each values with the latest values. Once use the output statement from the PDB to output dataset, it will send immediately. Next, once I send the first record, it is trying to read the second record. Yes, second record got read. Then it is trying to BMI also calculated. Guys, in case if you have 1 million records, guys, in your input data set, 1 million times data to run, all statement it is going to execute SAS. That is the SAS workflow. Okay, one time data to run, one record down, it will read. Next record, next again data to run, it will execute all statements. Third record, next data to run. Fourth record, data to run, all. So data to run, we can call iteration. Okay, if you have 1 million records, 1 million iterations, it will happen within the fraction of seconds. BMI calculated as output statement executed, output data set. Out it will send to the output. And again, run. Two things occur automatically. The SAS system returns to the beginning of the data step to read the third record, and everything is setting to the missing value. But there is no more records to read. It will jump to the next program. So the explicit output statement use the output statement writes current observation from the PDB to SAS dataset immediately, not at the end of the data step. Usually, it will send at the end of the data step, it will send to the output dataset, guys. Meanwhile, if you want to send output forcibly, they just use output state. Up to this clear, any questions? Questions, please. Questions, guys? No questions, right? Compilation phase, execution phase. Compilation phase, just tables created. Execution phase, it is going to read the record. That's it. PDU only, it will create all the variables. Now, coming to the next concept here. The difference between using raw dataset and SAS dataset, guys. If it is a raw data, this is raw data. Okay, raw data from text file. If you read first raw data to input buffer to PDB, right? This is the flow. Raw data to first it will send input buffer position wise, record wise it will variable wise it will send to the PDB. Once all variable right, complete record it will send to the output dataset. Four things happen, right? Raw data to input buffer to PDB, PDB to output dataset. But it is a set statement. No need input buffer directly. Input dataset to PDB, PDB to output dataset. See here, same set statement. Example one. So we are calculating BMI. BMI equals to 700 into weight by height. Already example one dataset you have height and weight. So with help of height and weight, we are calculating the BMI. This time we have Barbara, height 61, weight 170. John, height 62, weight 175, both values are there. This is your input data. Example 1 input data set. Set statement you are using. So first it will send to the automatic variables, first automatic variables, then input data set variables in compilation phase, and execution phase it is going to read all the records. So we will see the presentation for that. Yep, SAS sets each variable to the missing in the PDB, first iteration of the execution, right? Then it will read record by record. Input data set, listen, input data set to PDB. So once execute output statement, it will send to the output. Again, data statement to read the second record. Second record, it will send to the output. That's it. Okay. So if it is a SAS data set, there is no need of input buffer. So input data set to PDB, PDB to output data set. Got it? If it is a raw data to input buffer to PDB, PDB to output data set. This difference, just remember. Okay, I will explain with another example for better understanding. One moment, guys. Next. Hmm. See, so data, example 2, set SAS help dot class new underscore a is equals to a is plus 5 and run. Okay, so that means what is going to happen? First input data set is SAS help dot class. Next input data set to PDB. What is output data set? Work dot example 2. This is the flow, right? It will send. So how many variables are there in the SAS help dot class, guys, here? Name variable, sex variable, age variable, height variable, and weight variable. 5 variables, right? We have class data set, guys. Name variable, sex variable, age variable, height variable. 5 variables only we have. And one more variable we are creating. So this variable where it is going to create, guys, new variables where it will create. Come on, guys. Variables are going to create in backend where?
DB.
PDB, right? Exactly. So first, all variables from the SAS self dot class, yes, name, sex, age, height, weight, it will copy. Then newly created variable, new age will create, right? Like BMI, guys. First input data set variables created, then BMI added, right? PDB. So now new age got added. Okay. So this is this is compilation phase. Okay, once new is created, now again it will go to the data. Okay, so it is trying to read first record. For example, first record values are, I will copy at least 3 records. Okay, copy. Hmm. See, at least 3 iterations I will explain. Just I zoomed out. Uh, hmm. First iteration, once SAS cursor reaches to the data statement in PDV, what will happen? So guys, along with underscore name, sex, name, sex, age, height, weight, new age, two more variables will create, right? What will be those two variables in the PDV?
Underscore N,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Underscore n underscore
underscore,
underscore
underscore A,
error
and
under. Yeah, these variables will create. So first record, once SAS cursor reach to the underscore error underscore one, first record. Initial underscore error underscore zero. What is the name? Alfred. Alfred it is going to read. Next. Sex. M it will read. Age 14 it will read. Height 69 it is going to read. Weight 112.2 high. But when it's coming to the new years, so once set statements are SAS as a reach, all these name variables, sex variable, age variable, height variable values it is going to read. Next, SAS cursor will reach to the new years statement. New years. So new years, age plus 5, age 14 already there. 14 plus 5, 19. Then SAS cursor reach to the run. Once SAS cursor reach to the run, this record will send to the output data set. But you know that, right? Underscore n underscore underscore underscore. It will be there, but it will not display the output data set, right? Only name variable, sex variable, height variable, age variable. These 6 variables data it will send to the output data set. Am I right? First iteration. First iteration done, right? Next. Again, SAS cursor will move to the top. Means underscore and underscore 2, second record. Error 0. Second record. Alfred M135684. Once cursor reaches set statement, yes, name, sex, age, height values it will take from the input data set. Yes, new age it is going to calculate age plus 5. So age is 13, 13 plus 5, 18. Next, run. Run. Once SAS cursor reaches the run, at the end of the statement, SAS will send the record from the PDV to output data set. Again, SAS cursor will move to the top to read the second record, third record, underscore underscore 3. Okay, 0. Once cursor reaches the set statement, it will read all values from set input data set to PDV. Then newly created variable age, new age 13 plus 5, 18. Once read all variables PDV2, it will send to the output data set. So this is the way it is going to read, guys. SAS. Got it? 19 iterations will happen. 19 records. Each iteration it will add 5, 5, 5 for the age. Clear? Any questions here? Hmm. So this is very important to understand. Once you understand the workflow, guys, what's happening once you submit the program, then you can easily go with your programming part. Okay, so what you did before 10 days classes, now after this session, you can easily understand, okay, if I run this program, this is what happening back end. That's why I'm getting this kind of part. Okay, now for example, this one. Okay, exactly this one I'm going to take. Okay, or else this method. I have one invalid data only in the third record, or else we'll go second record invalid data. So this is how it will happen. In this case, guys, there is no input data set. We have input data only, right? So where it will create variables directly from raw data to input buffer, it will hold. From the input buffer, variables are going to create actually PDB only, right? Yeah, PDB. This is SAS data set, but this is raw data. In the raw data, there is no column names. So you can start from PDB directly, where it will create columns very first in this method. In the PDB only, it will create variables. From the PDB to, it will send to the output data set patient details. Total 5 variables are there. Underscore n underscore error underscore these 5. But output data set will get only these 5 records, right? Mm. So PDB underscore n underscore first iteration. So once create the variables in a compilation phase, then it will check for the syntax errors. Guys, syntax error and data error, there is a difference. I will explain in a while. So you don't have syntax error, right? You have data error, but data error not a problem. With the missing value, it is going to read. But if you have syntax error, then what will happen? For example, here I have star. This is invalid SAS name. If I run this program, can I get output? Guys, no, right? Which phase it is going to stop? Which phase it is going to stop? Once we have syntax error,
Execution phase.
no. It will not enter to the execution phase. Once you have syntax
Compilation
error,
phase.
in compilation
Compilation
phase
phase.
itself. Yeah. In compilation phase itself, right? Because in compilation phase, last, it will check for the syntax errors. If there is no errors in the program, then only it will enter to the execution phase. But you have, right? Got it? Don't confuse. If there is no syntax errors in the program, then only it will enter to the execution. If you have any syntax error in first phase itself, it will stop the execution. Clear? So there is no syntax error. Then, so once you create the variables, then first iteration underscore n underscore one error 0. Okay. So first record from the data lines it is going to take data line to PDB. Of course, first it will hold input buffer position wise. From the input buffer variable wise, it will send to the PDB. So once read all record all variables in the PDB from the first record, it will reach to the run. Once reach to the run, this record it will send to the output data. Second iteration, initial error value 0, PID 1030, name also Alfred. Is once trying to reach is, then error underscore going to be display 1. So while reading the second record, there is an error. So A is going to be missing. Why missing? Age is the numeric variable, but you have alphabet, right? Next, mail to TRT1, it is going to read. This record it will send to the output. Once SAS cursor reach to the run. So guys, once read all the variable values, yeah, it will SAS cursor reach to the run. Next record it will do, so it will start from again from the beginning. Like this, it is going to read. Same information it will display underscore n underscore 2 underscore error underscore 1. While reading the second record, okay, there is a error for is 13 to 15th position dot. See here, you can see, just place the cursor, which position you can see, 13, 13 to 15, we have invalid data. Same information it is displayed. PDB to output data set. If it is set statement from the input data set to PDB, PDB to output. If it is a raw data to PDB, PDB to output data set. Okay. So difference between syntax error and data error. Syntax error. Okay, you missed a semicolon here in the input statement. You forgot semicolon. Submit. See here. SAS system stopped processing because of errors. Okay. Or else even if you miss semicolon here, or if you use some different name, invalid SAS name, that is caused under syntax error. SAS system stopped processing because of errors. Because this is completely invalid SAS name. So guys, the conclusion is if you have syntax error, SAS system because of errors. This kind of note you can expect or error. So no output. Frequently asked interview question. With syntax error, SAS will not create any output dataset, guys. Okay, it's syntax error. But when it's come to the data error, yeah, I have data error here. Second record and third record. If I run this program, can I get output? Guys, if I run this program, can I get my output dataset? Or the SAS is going to stop the processing. What do you think?
It will show the output, but it will show some error in the missing values.
Yeah,
It will show.
the missing value, but at least we'll get output dataset, right? It will
Yes.
not stop processing. It will enter to the execution phase. In execution phase, while reading itself as invalid data, it will set missing, but we'll get output dataset, right? Yes, with the data error, not a problem. SAS is going to create output dataset with missing value. Syntax error, no output dataset. Data error will get output dataset. Just remember both. Clear? Okay. Mhm. I have updated already presentation in the drive. Just go through guys presentation. Okay. Just understand compilation phase what happened and execution phase how SAS is reading the variables. That's enough. Here there is nothing to do practice in this concept actually. So understanding and just remember what's happening. That's it. Okay, I will check how much knowledge you have coming to this method, output statement and all, data test. One moment, guys. For example, A equals to 10, B equals to X, A equals to 20, B equals to XY, A equals to 30, B equals to XYZ. Tell me guys, if I run this program, can I get output? If I get output, how many records will get?
with one record, last record.
Mm-hmm. If I say will not get even one record also, then where you are going to check? Yes, I can say that. Even one record also we are not able to get if you run this program. Why?
Syntax errors. Last
Where is this?
30 after 30.
Yeah, exactly. So there is no semicolon here. Okay. So as there is no semicolon, no output. SAS system stop processing. There is a syntax error. See guys, identifying the syntax error is pretty easy. See, it is displaying B as an error, but what is the problem with B? Nothing problem with B. So you are not closing with A. So that's why it is displaying B. Always next statement it will says error when you have syntax error. So just use semicolon. Okay. Once you use semicolon. Now, as you said, only one record. What will be the B variable value then?
XYZ.
B variable value?
XYZ.
Only
No,
X.
only X. Because B variable length, very first it will set one, right? Or because one byte is there very first. So as one byte is the length, we'll get only one. I said right? SAS will set variable length based on the value only in this method. First variable value B value is X, one character. So B variable length also it will be one character only. Length equals to one. There you can see, right? No confusion, right? Hmm. So if you want to change, just use the length. The change the length statement, you can change the length. Okay. Okay. Forget about length. We can change length. But now my intention is if I use output here and here, how many records we can expect?
3 records.
Just apply logic here. What we are doing
Maybe
with program.
first we will not
Two records.
get, first will be get replaced by the second,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get second and third out because output we have mentioned there, so it will get recorded
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
third.
Two records only. A20 and BX, A30 and BX. As we are not changing length for the B variable, one character. So we'll get only one character, but we'll get 30x and 20x. Okay. If I use only one output, guys, if you use only on one output, only one record only it will be. Only one record. There is no more lost record. Once start using output, that record only it will send to the output, not remaining. Okay, don't confuse. Without output, yes, last record it will send. Once start using output, where you are using output, that record only it will send to the output. So two outputs, two records. Okay, this is about your data step processing, guys, and what and all we discussed. Very important. Just keep in mind. We'll repeat again while discussing options. Okay, and tomorrow we are going to discuss new topic: how to read the multiple records. Reading multiple records. Just the 30 minutes class. Then we'll go to the formats and informats. And whereas come to the model number 2, as I said, here we are going to spend a lot of time. Options will spend around 10 days time, guys. Options. Done. That's all about today, guys. We'll continue tomorrow, guys. I hope there is no questions. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.